Now, how will you feel if you have a farm, or let me say, if you have an agricultural business that is bringing money for you in millions every month, and you don't have to be actively involved in that business on daily basis? I believe this will be a very beautiful and fantastic idea or fantastic business model that you want to copy. So today, let's have this hard conversation and see if it is possible, and if it is possible, what is the template that you can use to be able to have a business that will run in agriculture by itself without you being there. As a consultant, people reach out to me on daily basis from different parts of the world, telling me that they want to go into agriculture, they want to have a farm, they want to own a very massive project, but currently they are in UK, currently they are in Dubai, they might be in Canada, or let me say they are in Nigeria, but they are not staying in the village. So the farm is supposed to be in Enugu while they are in Abuja, or the farm is supposed to be in Kano while they are in Port Harcourt. Now, is it possible for us to have that kind of a system? Now, you cannot imagine the volume of people I consult for on daily basis. I have conversation call with people, a lot of people every morning and evening. Now, many of them want to go into agriculture, and the truth is they are not willing to commit 100% in that project, which is not a bad idea. And many times when they come to me, they just want me to show them what they would do that will help them to make money. So not too long, I consulted for a Nigerian who is based in Germany, and he wanted to go into poultry farming. He wanted to do broilers, and he was looking at starting with 5,000 pieces so he can be making good money. Because one thing with broilers is that if you do it on a small scale, you will not be able to earn big money. So when you want to make money in broilers production, you want to keep at least 1,000 and above. So we started speaking, and I told him, meanwhile, he has done the construction. They have built the pen, everything is set, he's just talking. And that was the reason why he came to me. So I look at it and I told him that yes, this idea is a fantastic idea. It will help you make money here in Nigeria while you also make money where you are in Germany. But there's a problem. And I will have to be frank with you. I don't know how you're going to take the advice, but it will be better for me to be so raw with you, so that even if you don't take this advice, one day you sit by yourself and say, okay, the guy told me not to do this. So I told him that yes, I supply day-old chicks. So if I supply 5,000 pieces of day-old chicks to you, on average, if I do my calculation, I will make good profit out of that. And again, this conversation we're having, you have paid for it. But at the end of that project, you will not make money from it. And he was like, okay, what does that mean? I say, we can do the project, I'll consult for you, show you what to do, help you to feed your birds. But at the end of the day, you'll not be able to make money from that project, because the people who are going to manage this farm for you, we don't know who they are. Or we don't know if they want to go far in this life. Are they people who are ambitious? Are they looking at achieving anything for themselves? Now, most likely they are not. Now, those kind of people are quick to fall for any small money that comes into their hand. Now, this is mainly for someone who is a beginner. So I advise him, I say, I will advise you not to start that project in that big format yet. For the fact that you have got the land, you have built the pen, let's start very small. He said, okay, what is my small? I said, let's start with 100 bears. Let's buy 100 bears and let this man that is going to manage, the person who was to manage that farm for him was the brother-in-law. So let your in-law manage his 100 bears. Let's see. He said, okay, no, 100 is too small. Let's do 100 broilers, 100 noilers, 100, I think 50 local turkey. So he sent in the money. I gathered all the source from Ibadan and sent to the brother-in-law. We started the farm. The farm was doing the birds were doing well, but a point came where he now saw what I was telling him. He said, the problem is that the brother-in-law is busy. Most times he will just go to the farm early in the evening, put enough feed, and go back to where he is, and will not come back to the farm again. Now, that for him, because he's not an expert in poultry, in his mind he's looking at, okay, if I can do that, I will make money, I will have another time to do another project, because these birds are not worth me sitting there 247 to manage. That might look so sound, but it is not, because the only way those birds can give you good result is if you're going to stay there and monitor them at that infant stage. So he realized that what I was telling him is true. It's difficult for him to have a staff who is going to stay there and manage that project for him. So as a result, he will not be able to do that project well. So the project, he told me, based on the fact that he has seen it, he will not add more birds to that until he is ready to come back to Nigeria, settle down and manage the project. Then he can get workers to work with him. Now, why am I using this story to educate you on? I'm using the story of broilers because I want you to see that any project in agriculture is like an infant, a day-old chick. That chick cannot talk. That chick cannot tell you if he's feeling sick or if the food you gave him is not enough. So the only way you can know is through science, how they move their body, their reactions to feed, water, their poo, and so many other things. And you can only know these things if you're there 24 hours. So the idea of saying, okay, I want to have a farm where I'm not there and that farm should be producing money for me, it looks so good. And I ought not to discourage you. I'm supposed to say, yeah, it's a good idea, start. But me, I'm looking at what will happen later if you go ahead with that project. You'll be discouraged. People will cheat you because it's not everybody that is serious. And at the end of the day, you will leave that project. So today I want us to look at 4 areas in agriculture that, let's analyze these 4 areas and see which one is easy for us to run while we are not on the farm, or why we are not being engaged in the activity of that business 24 hours, yet it will still be profitable. So all you have to do is to settle down and watch this video to the end. And if you're new here, subscribe to this channel, because this is one of the most best educative agricultural channel you're going to see on YouTube. So you have to subscribe. Now, we have 4 areas. Number 1 is the primary production. Now, primary production in agriculture, using poultry for example, simply means you buying birds, day-old chick, feeding them to maturity and selling. So we call that you are in primary production. Or you have a vegetable farm, say tomato or pepper or cucumber or watermelon, you're into primary production. Or you have a rice farm, you bought land, cultivated rice, you're into primary production. Now, is it possible for you to do primary production without you being present on the farm and still make profit? Yes, for some crops. For example, you can have a maize farm without you being on the farm every day, or even being in Nigeria and you harvest that maize. You can have a cassava farm without you being on the farm every day and you harvest your cassava. You can have a cashew plantation without you being on the cashew farm every day and you still harvest. You can have a palm plantation, it will grow well, you harvest money, you make much money without being on the farm. The problem is that at the initial stage, the startup phase of that project, it will require that you are there, or it will require that you have a good consultant who is going to be there to set up the farm for you, manage the farm for you, because those activities does not require 24 hours monitoring. It can do well. A fish farm cannot do well for you. A poultry farm cannot do well for you, except you have a standard project manager that can guarantee that project being well before you can invest money in it. So primary production is difficult for you to do if you're not on the farm. And I will not advise you to go into livestock, especially if you don't have a serious hand. And many times a serious hand does not mean a sincere person. So you have your in-law or your younger brother who is very sincere, loyal to you, does not mean he's going to be loyal, sincere in managing a business or managing a poultry farm or managing a fish farm. So you have to be careful on those kind of projects. Now let's look at processing. Is it possible for you to have a factory, say a rice processing factory, while you're in UK or while you're in Lagos, and that factory is a different location and it will produce money for you? Very difficult. Now we're living in 2025. That means you can actually sit somewhere and manage a farm or a factory somewhere. But many times, funny enough, recently we saw a video on, I think it was on Facebook, where a matured man was hitting bears by the head, killing some of the bears. Now, based on that video interpretation, we heard that the owner of the farm is abroad, while the farm is at home. I'm not sure it's a Nigerian farm, but the landlord was complaining that this man was not paying his bills. And he wanted to send a message, so he went there and killed the bears, recorded the video, and forwarded to this guy abroad for him to see. That is how wicked human beings are. Now, when you install a camera in your farm to monitor your farm for you, sadly, in Nigeria, many times people employ those kind of technology and they are not there to monitor it 24/7. So many times they come back to watch an incident that has taken place. So, for example, recently we saw another video of a boutique, a very standard boutique. The owner of the boutique has an iron door. So those boys, two boys, came there in the night to vandalize the door so they can steal some of the clothes. They struggled with the door, hit the door, did everything. The door could not open. The guy there was a camera in front of the door, but I believe the camera was hidden, so they couldn't see it. And since it was night, the camera could not even capture their face well. So they struggled with the door, struggle. They could not, and they ran away. Now, one guy made a comment that Nigerians will install a camera in their office or in their farm, and the camera will only record an event when it has happened. So people can come there, steal, and go. So you wake up in the night, then you settle down, you start watching the footprint. And many times, you know how our country it is, you will not be able to track that person. So if you are going to install your farm, install a camera in, say, your rice factory, for the camera to watch the activities while you're in UK. It therefore means that will be your job. Or you're going to employ someone who will sit with the camera in UK to monitor your farm and give directives. If you cannot do this, forget about say, okay, I will set up a camera. Now, the camera will be there. Theft and other carelessness, negligence will go on the farm. It will affect your project before you come and watch the video and start shouting. It won't profit you. So what I'm trying to say here is that you can operate a factory when you're not there. But at the startup phase, this is where I always hammer. You have to be there. You have to be the one that build the facility, buy the equipment that you need, set up the place, train workers, get to know who is who one-on-one. Then from there you can travel. My rice factory can run today without me. There is nothing I don't know about processing rice. Nothing. Now you have never done the rice farm, you have never done the garri factory, you have never owned any processing factory. You just have the resources and you invested the money. So the manager of that project can even cheat you. They can steal your money, they can make sure the factory go down. You will have no idea. I have one of my uncle, let me say a very close relative. He has a school, a secondary school and a primary school. So this man, when he died, the principal of that school managed the school for 2 years and he was able to establish his own school that was now competing with the school he was managing. And the owner, or let me say the child of the owner of the school, could not even stop the guy. He was not even knowledgeable on how school system works. So the man could go to that school, pick money from that school to go and operate his own business. And the school was going down. Teachers were not being paid. People start complaining. Everything was down. His own school was growing. Someone have to step in and sack the man. So what I'm trying to say here is that when you want to go into processing, you want to have a factory, and you yourself, you have never managed or owned a factory, that business will also struggle. One of the confidence I have about rice processing factory that I'm boasting that I can manage it from UK and it will do well is because you can't cheat me. I know if we buy 1 ton of paddy, what that paddy will give us. I know the volume of diesel my factory will consume per day, so you can't cheat me on that. I know how many hours that machine will be on and what it will produce. So all of this you don't know. So there will be so many challenges that you will not be able to even understand. So owning a factory is stressful, is profitable. I will not advise to own a factory when you are very far, you don't even know anything about the business. You will struggle with that business. Now let's go to trading of agro commodities. Now this is one of the business where I believe you can run right now where you are and you'll be profitable. I have been able to help people set up stores here in Nigeria. They are not here, they are in UK. Rice distribution stores, yes. Currently we are working on one in Imo State. The man is not in Nigeria, but we are setting up that store in such a way that he will be able to see, monitor a system there for him to see, monitor what is going on in that place. If we are going to deliver 200 bags of rice, there is no way you call him and say, we sold 2 bags. Where is the money? The money, we are not collecting cash. You're going to pay. There's a system that he can also see what is happening. Now, another way, for example, now you want to be distributing or supplying soya beans, cassava, paddy to factories. You can do that sitting abroad. And how this is possible, you will need to build a network of other traders. I'm going to make a separate video on this. This will help you, because if you want to do any agricultural business that is trading, you can actually trade without being there every day. As you see me here in Nigeria, I sell a lot of farm produce. I don't even go to the field, and I don't work with my staff. No, I outsource those projects to people so that everyone is working based on knowledge and integrity. So the person who is going to supply paddy to me has a network of rural farmers. He works with those farmers directly. He's even based in that village. He doesn't have access to the internet the way I have. He doesn't even know factories the way I know. So I will not stress myself going to those rural communities necessary to go and buy paddy. Anytime I need, I'll just call him. He will send to me. If the margin is good for me, I supply to the factory. If I'm going to those farmers, I'm going there because I want them to know me. I want to have a network with them. Not because if I'm not there, the rice will not sell. And because of that, I can actually sit in my room right here, make a call, and I will supply 10 trucks of paddy to another factory. I'll collect my profit. Now let's assume I'm in UK. I will still do the same thing. I can sit in the UK and sell gari and sell egusi. Why? I've built that network already. I have reliable people. They are not my staff. So month end, they will not call me and say pay my salary. No, they are supplying me commodities at their own price. I'm collecting those commodities, keeping them in my warehouse, and reselling to people that I know that they don't know. They don't know some of the market I know. So that is the only way you can actually trade or make money from agriculture without being there 24/7. Nobody will cheat you. Everyone will be safe. Of course, even with trading, there are other dirty games that people play. But when you learn, you will know, because that is the reason why I say I work with people of integrity. They can't cheat themselves. That is their business. They are not working for me and thinking we are the one making money for this boy. If we are not the one, he will not make money. Because that is the mentality that our people have. when you are not there with them, and even though you're paying them, they still feel they are doing you a favor, that without them you will not be able to survive. So you can trade without being there 24 hours. You can trade without even employing your own staffs, but you cannot do other projects in agriculture without your presence. Now another one is input providers, which is also trading, but this one you're trading what farmers need. For example, someone who sells fertilizer, he's selling fertilizer to farmers, and such a facility can be run without you being there. But this one too, you need a reliable person. So let's assume you buy vegetable seed from some of our companies that sell hybrid, and you want to be distributing. It therefore means you will need to have someone who will manage that store for you, and that person must be reliable. So if you check all the 4 businesses that I've mentioned here, primary production, I say, is difficult for especially livestock. You can do crops, other vegetable. So even if you're not there, most of them it takes 90 days for harvest. On that 90th day or harvest season, you're there to harvest your crops yourself. You can try. And I say processing, that is having a factory. I say having a factory can only work if you have knowledge of that business before. So if you have never operated any factory and you set the factory up, it will be difficult for you. As if it's possible, you need to get good people who will manage that project for you. And I say trading is fantastic. You can do trading without being there 24 hours, without even employing your own staff. So let's assume you're based in the UK and you want to be trading ginger, or you're based in any of the European countries because they buy a lot of ginger, and you want to be trading African ginger within Europe. You don't have to leave Europe to come to Nigeria to come and buy ginger, and you don't need to set up an office in Nigeria, employ staff to go and be buying ginger from you. Someone like me, I have access to ginger farmers, so you can only reach out to me and say, okay, billionaire farmer, I need 2 container load of ginger. How are we going to do it? I will give you the terms and conditions of the business. You send the money, I send the ginger to you. How you sell the ginger there is not my business. And I'm not your staff. I only supply to you. So you can see that you don't necessarily have to leave where you are, come to Nigeria to say you want to help farmers. I know many of us who are abroad, one of the mindset we have is trying to see how we can help our farmers. Not many of our farmers need help, sadly. And some of them, when you try to help them, they feel you are even cheating them, because they will feel the kind of money you're making is way above what they are getting. It's a very big challenge that we have in this sector. So my advice for you would be that you can run an agricultural company from a distance, but you cannot start a successful, or you cannot lay a good foundation if you're not there. So if you want to start a farm, if you want to start a processing factory, my advice for you will be that at the infant stage, be on that farm, manage that project by yourself, then you can go to any part of the world you are, and based on the knowledge and the system you set in place, the people you train, you can manage them. You can know if your manager lies to you. You can know if your staff is stealing from you. So what I'm trying to say here in summary is that it's difficult for you to start a farm and it will be profitable from afar. You need to be on ground and set the foundation. Let the foundation be on rocks, so that when you're far, you can monitor it. I've seen this in most of the entrepreneurs that I follow. People like the Aliko Dangote, people like the Elon Musk. Before they build those businesses that they have today, they were there 24 hours. Mark Zuckerberg, he can today not go to Facebook physical office for, let me say, weeks. The business will be running well. Dangote has more than 14, he has factories in more than 14 African countries. So it means he doesn't go to those factories every day, but they are running. But I believe it was not so when he started the cement factory. At the initial stage, he was there. He was the one who was managing the factory until he knew the business to a point. Then he bought Benue Cement. He bought Sokoto Cement. He bought other factories. Based on the knowledge that he has here, there was a template on how to hire people, who to hire, the kind of skills we need, how to manage those people, how to manage the machine. To a point, if you lie to him now, he know. He always say it that he knows his business A to Z, all the figures. And if you watch his interviews, you know that he know. You will know that somebody did not wrote those things on paper to give him to come and present. He doesn't check paper at this point and call. No, he will be speaking. You will know he's speaking from knowledge. He didn't start with setting 14 factories while he's in Nigeria and those factories will work. It will never work. And it will never work for you. It's not a course, but it's how business is run. My mentor in agriculture, he sleeps in his farm. He has a very big farm. So what he knew is that, look, this has to be my home. So he set up in a standard, a very good house, good security, 24 hours power, steady internet. He stays on the farm. He visits his family in the city from time to time, return back to that farm. The farm is growing. Currently, he's building one of the most biggest farm of that sort in West Africa. It's not because he's more intelligent. The physical presence in a startup is key. It doesn't mean if you have money, then the farm will work. When you set that foundation, if he's able to do that farm, run it for some years, and the model work, he can go to Rwanda and buy a land and set up that farm in Rwanda and return back to Nigeria and that farm will work. So all the time I'm consuming here is for me to save you money. You will not see this information from many places. You will only see motivation telling you you can set up your farm and be somewhere. I watched an interview of one guy based on what the guy was saying. He says he based in Canada. He has a livestock farm in Nigeria. And the guy that was interviewing asking, how do you manage the farm? He says it's not easy. The camera cannot watch everywhere. Staff complaining, stealing, negligence. Because stealing and negligence, the same effect. So even if you have good people and they don't steal from you, and the time where they were supposed to feed your fish, they did not go there to feed those fish, it will affect your farm. There was a time I had my staff on the farm. In the night, they'll go to club. Now that night time, normally they are supposed to be sleeping, right? But when you're managing a livestock farm, you don't sleep in the night or travel somewhere in the night. You have to be on the farm. What if an emergency comes and you're in the club dancing? What happens to those birds or those fish? So you have to be there to monitor them from intervals. Similar thing with a factory. So for you to save your money, I'm making this video to appeal to you that look, even if you love agriculture, you want to invest into it, you want to have a factory, if you cannot be on the farm right now, don't do it. Wait first. Then when it's time for you to retire or leave the job you're doing and build the farm, jump. But for now, be saving your money, follow me on YouTube, learn, make your notes, design your template, watch how other people are doing, learn from their mistake, design your template. When you have time, you can settle down and run your farm, especially for a physical farm, livestock, vegetables. You will need to be there. Forget all those systems. People will tell you you can be somewhere, the farm will run. Not a farm. And I'm not sure any business can run that way, that you're not there. You have zero at there. You were not the person that set up the foundation. The statistics for such success will be very slim. So that is the simple advice I have for you today. And for people who reach out to me to say, okay, I want to set up a farm, me, I will advise you, I will tell you the truth. Don't do it. It's not yet time. Until you're yet to commit into that project total for the start, then you can go ahead. But if you're not, keep your money safe, be learning, and when it's time, you jump. So thank you for watching this video. If you have gotten value, like this video, share the video, and if you're new, kindly subscribe to this channel. Thank you so much. I remain Denison, your billionaire farmer.